Welcome video design students. In this video, in this series of lessons, we're going to put together a broadcast segment for a high school sports show. We're going to learn how to edit out mistakes, apply and animate lower thirds titles, and fade the volume in and out on the music track. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need to do is acquire the raw footage for the project. For my class, I have shared a folder with my students here on Microsoft Onedrive, and in that folder is the raw footage already organized into 3 folders, video, graphics, and audio, for this project. So what my students will have to do, and what you may do with your teacher, I'm not sure, is download this folder. So to download a folder from OneDrive, you're going to check the little box that's right next to the folder, and you're going to click Download. And when you do that, I'm using Chrome, so when I do that, it asks me where I want to put it. You may not have Chrome set up that way. If you want to set up Chrome that way, then what you need to do is come up here to the 3 dots in Chrome and open up the settings, and then you need to go down to the bottom and find Advanced, and right here under Downloads, turn on Ask where to save each file before downloading. And after you do that, it will ask you. So however you do it, acquire this file, and it may come in as a zipped folder like this. To use a zipped folder, or to extract it, in Windows what you need to do is double click it, and that opens the folder up and shows you what's inside it. And then to extract it, you need to drag what's inside it out and drop it on your desktop or wherever you're going to put it. What I always advise my students to do is to drop it in their Documents folder so that it's in a safe place. So I've dropped this file in my Documents folder, and when you select the Documents folder, of course, you'll see it in there. And if you open it up, you'll see the 3 folders that we have inside there already. So what we're going to do now is open Premiere Pro and create a project. So open Premiere Pro. And when you open Premiere Pro, you get this new project window. I'm going to select New Project. I'm going to name this Sports, and the rest of this stuff you can just leave alone. All right, except here for the location, we're going to change that. Right now it's putting it in an Adobe Premiere Pro folder with a number on it in my Documents folder. I want to put it in my High School Sports project folder, so I'm going to click Browse. Go to my Documents folder. I'm going to find that High School Sports folder that I extracted. I'm going to select it, and now it's going to put my project in my High School Sports project folder, and then I'm going to click OK. Now, sometimes when you open Premiere Pro for the first time, you may end up with a layout that looks like this. Along here at the top is where you can change the layout of the interface. There's assembly, there's all these different layouts that are more convenient for doing different things in editing. We want video editing, so change your layout to that. Now down here at the lower left-hand corner is your project bin. So what we're going to do is import our folders into the project bin. So we're going to go to File, Import, and then we're going to import the video folder. And I think you can just grab all 3 of these like this. In fact, let's do that. Click on the first one, and then hold down Shift and click on the last one, and that selects all of them. And then click Import Folder, and that just imported one of them. So let's go to File, Import, and it's going to take me back into that folder. I need to go back to the root level of the High School Sports folder. So to do that, you click the breadcrumbs right here at the top. Click High School Sports. We're going to get Video, Import Folder, and then we're going to go to File, Import, go back to the root level, and we're going to get Audio. Now what that did was, unfortunately, that imported the audio folder into the video folder because that's the folder I had selected at the time. I don't want that. So I'm going to select this folder in here and delete it by pushing Delete on my keyboard. Now I need to go back out to the root level of my project bin here. To do that, I'm going to click this little folder with the up arrow, and that takes me back. Now I'm going to click down here in a blank area to make sure that there's nothing selected. And then I'm going to go to File, Import, and go back to the root level and select that audio folder. Oops. And click Import Folder. And now I have 3 folders in here. So let's check them out. In the graphics folder, we just have graphics. Remember, we can go back up a level by clicking this folder icon here. In the video level, we have 3 video clips. And in the audio folder, we have 1 audio track. Now, interestingly, in the video folder, when we have the icon view selected and we scroll over, just hover over with our mouse. If we hover over with our mouse, there's a little cursor down here at the bottom that you can click and drag. Some clips you can just move your mouse around without clicking at all, and it shows you what's in there, like these 2. This one doesn't do that for some reason. So we need to do a couple more things before we end this video. I want to make sure we've set this project up completely. So one of the things you need to understand about this particular project is that some of this video is very old and it is not the right resolution or aspect ratio, in other words, dimension, length, and height, that we want to use for modern HD TVs. Let's double click on this clip right here. And that brings it up in the source monitor, and you can see that it's square. If we double click one of these other ones, you can see that it is letterboxed, but it has the proper aspect ratio. This one is square as well, so they're very different. We want to make sure that our project is the modern 16:9 aspect ratio for HDTV, 1280 by 720 or 1920 by 1080 pixels. So what we're going to do is create a sequence, and then we're going to make our video fit that sequence. So we're going to click our timeline sequence window here. Notice it's highlighted in blue. And then we're going to go up to File, New, Sequence. Okay, so once we've selected New Sequence, that brings up a whole series of... So once we've selected New Sequence, that brings up the New Sequence settings window here. And along the top here are some tabs, a series of presets that we can use. You can also adjust the settings here under the Settings tab. You can add a preset number of tracks here if you want, but we can add those later, so we really don't need to worry about that. And then there is a Virtual Reality tab here. We're not worried about that either. So we're going to click Select. We're going to select Sequence Presets, and we're going to find AVCHD, and we are going to select 1080p, 30 frames per second, this one here, and you want to make sure that it is square pixels and the dimension is 1920 by 1080. This is what we want right here. So this is the one you want to select. And then we're going to name this SportsSegment 01 and click OK. And that creates a sequence for us here. We now have a sequence clip that is here in our video folder that will become what we assemble here in the timeline. Now, let's take this clip of the announcer and click and drag it into the timeline. And it asks us, do you want to change the sequence settings to match this clip, or do you want to keep the sequence settings? We're going to keep them. And then I want you to move your time slider over to where you can see the clip, and you can clearly see that it is the wrong aspect ratio and it is very small. So we're going to have to scale this up and adjust it. So select the clip in your timeline by clicking on it. And then you're going to come over here to the source monitor area, and along the top you'll see these tabs. Click Effect Controls, and then you'll see different things. Sometimes you may see it like this, all right? You want to open up the motion area or the motion group by clicking on the little flyout that's right there, the little greater than symbol that's to the left of it. And then you're going to want to find Scale. Now, any number that is in blue in any Adobe program can be changed So what we're going to do is if you hover your cursor over this number, you can see that the cursor changes. If you click and hold your left mouse button, you can click and drag that number left and right to increase it or decrease it. So we're going to want to decrease it until it fills the frame. And then I want you to take your cursor your time slider and move it. And you can see that it zooms in a little bit. So we want to make sure we're at a point where it's already zoomed in. And then I want you to hover over the Y position. This is X, this is Y. Click your left mouse button and drag it to move the man's face down so that it's framed in the center of the window. And if you want to, you can adjust the X position a little bit too, but not too much, because see, then there's a black space. So now that we have our sequence set up and our project established, we're going to have to adjust these other clips as well, but we'll just do that when we bring them in. So that's going to do it for this video. And in the next video, what we're going to do is edit out the mistake that happens to be in this clip. And then we'll start to assemble the rest of the sequence. And I'll see you then.